Hey guys, so something a little different for the channel. It's a reward for you guys working out in the garage, working on your stuff, trying to fix things by yourself. Let's talk about pizza. I love pizza. I'm sure most of you do too. If you don't, try it. And if you still don't like it, try something else. Different kind of pizza. We have near us Papa Murphy's. I never knew of these before, but now we have this Papa Murphy's. It's been around for a few years. Basically, it's a take and bake. They make the pizza unbaked, so you take it home and you just plop it in your oven and it comes out and it's good to go. It's an exceptional value. They run specials all the time and it's a really good value to me. We love the taste of it. You can customize it and stuff when you order, so give it a try if you have one. What I'm going to show you today, though, is a little trick that we found after years of eating their pizzas. And it has to do with this. The 5-cheese bread. And it comes with marinara sauce also that they have. I'm going to show you how to transform this, I don't know, 6-inch by 8-inch, 10-inch cheese bread into a pizza. A great pizza. These are the pizzas that we get normally. These are what they call family size, so a little bit bigger, but this is a stuffed pizza. This is also a stuffed, two different kinds. This is chicken bacon with a white garlic sauce. It's fantastic. This is a Papa Murphy's stuffed, they call it, with, I don't know, all sorts of different things. They offer a Chicago style too, but it's really not Chicago style. I'm from Chicago and have had untold number of Chicago deep dish pizzas, and it's not the same. We actually prefer the Papa Murphy's one more than the Chicago stuffed, but it's still neither are the same. But anyway, the video is going to be about this trick. This is $5. You can get coupons for it. Sometimes you can get it free with an order of something else. Sometimes I've seen it for I think $4 or $3.99 or even $2.99, I believe. And you can turn this into a big size pizza using this, just a cast iron pan in your oven. And it comes up, I like to do it and make the crust about here. It only comes with some cheeses on it and a white creamy garlic sauce. And you could actually even have them change it out and make a red sauce while you're doing it. This one, it seems a little rushed. This dough does not seem normal compared to these that I normally get. So we'll see how this one turns out. But I'm making this one for my son, so we're gonna have just cheese on it. But if it's for me, I would load it up with like onions, green peppers, mushrooms. You can throw some pepperoni pieces on it. So I will show you how to transform this into a great pizza. Turns out it's a really cheap way to make a good sized pizza for two. So first thing I'm gonna do before we start on that is I'm gonna pop one of these guys in the oven because it's a stuffed one. It's 350, it says about 40 minutes. I like my crust to be crunchy, not burnt, but where it can hold its own. I don't like a soggy crust. So you start out on this tray, and then after about maybe 5 or 6 minutes, you take a spatula and you can slide it underneath around here and pop it off the tray and cook it directly on the oven rack. It makes for such a better crust, and rotate the pizza in your oven, every 10 or 15 minutes because no oven cooks perfectly the same in every spot. Ours is hotter back here in the left corner, so I make sure I rotate it 3 times while it's cooking. So let me get this popped in. Let's see here. Hardest part is that blast of heat that comes out of the oven when you initially open it. Pop that in, it just fits in our oven. I will set the timer for just about 7 minutes for that initial point where I can pop it off that tray. And this is a coupon they give you for free cookie dough. You go online, you fill out a little survey, you write in a code, and they'll pop out a little thing of free cookie dough, which is really good. Some places actually let you exchange this for this. So when you order a pizza, you can bring this in, ask to exchange it. Several places I've tried, they don't mind. It's because it's the same price as cookie dough. And they give you one of these instead. So essentially you get a free cheese pizza with it. So let's start on this guy. All right. first thing we're going to have to do is get some bowls because we're going to disassemble this pizza. So we'll take a couple bowls, spoon, and a fork. Counter's clean, don't panic. So what I'm gonna do is, basically I wanna get this cheese off this pizza dough. So if you just scrape gentle, and we'll talk about the stuff that's stuck to it. They put a really good amount of cheese on. They weigh everything there. That's how they kind of tell that, you know, you come in, you get the same quality and quantity each time, because they actually weigh it out. So they weigh the cheese in a little cup, and to get the right amount in ounces, whatever that happens to be, and they stick it on here. You can scrape a little bit more if you really want to. It doesn't matter too much because it's gonna cook in. Now, part 2. You will see we're left with the dough and that seasoning, all the black stuff. It's like oregano and basil and whatever else they put in there. But there's actually a white, creamy, like garlic sauce on it. So if I scrape this a bunch like this, you'll see it kind of start gathering up on the spoon. It's obviously a bunch of butter, and then garlic and who knows what else. It's good, but we're just not a huge sauce fan. Like, it overpowers the other taste. So what I do is I scrape most of this off and get rid of it. You could actually put this on bread. If you had a French bread, you could put this on a French loaf and you've got fantastic like garlic bread. But I scrape most of this off because there's still plenty on the crust. You could also take a little bit of this, put it in the bottom of your pan, and so it helps it not stick, but we'll cover that in a second, and give it some extra flavor. I prefer to take a lot of it off. So let's set this down and scrape a lot of this off. It's definitely healthier that way too, because there's probably a lot of sodium and fat in this. You'll see that's pretty much a big size. So let me just, for now, I'll just set it here. I actually didn't need a second bowl this time because I forgot I'm not doing extra ingredients. So with this, when I pull this out of the pan, this is kind of gross to me. You're gonna see a lot of, hopefully you guys can see that, a lot of oil. Let me move back here. I don't know what the heck they do, man, but they just put a ton of freaking butter and oil on this, because you're supposed to bake it right in this black pan, and that way it won't stick. It's overkill. It's ridiculous. So part 2, what I do is get a paper towel. I'm going to lay it down actually in the pan like this. And I'm going to take this out just like it is and lay it on there and soak some of that up and throw it out. This can be thrown out, don't need it anymore. There's just so much oil and butter in here, it's disgusting. So not only is this healthier for you this way, because you're going to, instead of all that soaking into the pizza, you're going to throw it in the garbage. You're going to get some extra off on here because it's just way too much. You don't need that much. And then we took off a lot of the extra butter type toppings on the top, which again is just an excessive amount in my opinion, and it still tastes great without. So throw that out. Okay, so move that around, soak off the grease. There we go. And you can see still a ton came off this thing, just a ton. And that's where, if you don't really care, you can take that garlic butter sauce we threw out, throw it on here, or you can leave a lot of this grease on here if you want. I found this is a really well-seasoned cast iron pan, so stuff doesn't stick already pretty well. If you got a new pan, then I suggest you use more of the butter, grease, whatever, to make sure it doesn't stick. But we don't need to in this case. So I'm gonna throw this out. Now, all you do is you take this and you start slowly pulling it apart. It also helps, I found, if you let this warm up a little bit ahead of time. Doing this for you guys a little quick so it's not stretching as easily as it normally does. Let it get up to room temperature more so. I don't know how to throw pizza in the air and spin it, so if I try to do that, it'll probably land in the sink. So we're gonna just go like this. And basically, you wanna pull it to the shape you need. So for this pan, I'm gonna fill it up and I want the crust to come up about 1 inch on the edges. You can also do a calzone or a stromboli type thing where, and just fold it over like this and fill it with toppings. You could probably do, I don't know, pizza sticks or pizza, whatever. You have a piece of dough that's pre-seasoned for you, pre-mixed, and possibly for free if you use one of those coupons. So I'm going to get it to about where I want. As you can see already, it's already getting really near the shape I need. Just a little bit stretch. I'm letting the weight of the dough pull itself. And then, interruption. Excuse the interruption. That is our timer to pull this pizza off and let the crust harden. So let me grab a spatula. You need a spatula. It's not going to just slide right off. Sometimes it pops off real easy. Sometimes you got to fight a little. So here's the heat wave. Woo! See, it's looking good already. Be careful you don't burn yourself. Basically, just pop this in, and I pop it around like this. Woo! The bottom of this paper gets quite hot, so be careful. I might have to let this go a little bit longer. These were pretty darn cold when I got them. If you just stick it under, you'll hear it pull apart. And then when you start doing this, it just slides off. Bam, like that. That's how you really want that crust to cook. So 40 minutes total. It's gone 7. We got 33 minutes left approximately. I do it based on the crust size. So I'm going to do it for about 10 minutes here, and then I'm going to rotate it. All right, so back to this job. So we're going to keep pulling this. You can kind of work it along with your fingers. I kind of just pull it, push down. This is me. I like the dough to come up a little bit. Also, especially if you're using more toppings, it holds the toppings in. In this case, we don't have that. There we go. All right. And you can tear it too. If you see a spot that looks thin, or even if you have a tear, pull a piece off where you might have extra. Now, part 2. You're going to say, well, Brian, that looks great. You got your cheese, got your crust, you got some garlic creamy sauce, you got some oregano, some basil, and who knows what else they add. Toppings, no toppings, but we need some sauce, right? So you could go with just this, and basically you're just having a raw cheese bread. They give you this marinara sauce for free if you ask. It's supposed to be a dipping sauce. It tastes really good as just regular pizza sauce. Open it up, drop it on. Let's use the spoon. I try to minimize dishes. I really don't like cleanup. I don't mind cooking. I'll cook all day if someone were to clean up for me. Bam. You can also open a can of fresh stewed tomatoes. Or I shouldn't say fresh, they're canned stewed tomatoes. If you do that, you're going to want to put them in a saucepan and boil a lot of the water off to get a thicker sauce. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a pizza that's just really soggy. So I'm going to spread all this around. I'm not doing the tomatoes in this case. My youngest son, this is for him. He just likes it pretty much plain. Funny thing is, he'll devour green peppers raw. Like he'll eat 2 or 3 entire green peppers, which is raw. Carrots too, which is normal, but for kids, usually green peppers are such a strong flavor, but boy, he likes them, which I'm thankful for because they are healthy. We have a garden that we always try to grow those in every year. So there you go. Let me rinse my hands. Now, that's done. This is recyclable because there's no grease or anything in it. Now, what do? We add the cheese. Voila! Again, normally I would be putting vegetables on this if it was for my wife or I, or my other kids, but since it's just for my youngest, Now, as you'll see, since I stretched the pizza out, there's kind of some spots to where not enough cheese, right? Actually, that's not true. There's plenty of cheese for the normal person. I like cheese, so there's not enough cheese for me. Around here, I like to fill that in. So grab some shredded mozzarella from the store or some shredded cheddar. They actually mix a little bit of cheddar in at the end. You can see the yellow, dark yellow cheese here. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm an all mozzarella guy, but this little bit amount, I don't even feel like I can taste. I feel like it's more cosmetic on their end. Again, if you get there early enough and you watch them make these, you can tell them, hey, instead of putting the cheddar on the end, can you just use regular mozzarella? And they'll accommodate you. That's what's great about ordering from Papa Murphy's is if you want to change something up, you could do half orders, you can do quarter orders. They're very flexible, at least the store by us is, and I thank them for that. I told my son he needs to get a job there so he can bring home some pizza. So anyway, let me grab some shredded mozzarella and we'll add just a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right. So as you can see, we added some extra mozzarella, and I'm not going to tell him, but I'm going to sprinkle a little parm on it this time. Surprise his taste buds. The more he gets exposed to this stuff, the more he'll eventually like it. That's my thinking. There you go. That is a easy, at most $5 pizza if you go in and just pay full price, or possibly $0 pizza if you go and order something else and use one of the coupons and they let you exchange it, or $4 pizza if you get it on sale, one of their coupons. And you could have made this into a gigantic calzone. Like I said, it's fantastic. I like to try to get 2 of these, plop one on top upside down, and make a stuffed crust on my own. So if you get one for free and you get one for $5, flip it, you're gonna have a pizza that's like, I don't know, 3 inches thick, stuffed. And this pan, let's see over here, bring out this pan, oops, that is we're gonna call it a 12-inch pizza. That's a 12-inch pizza right there. Perfect for one big person like myself, or my son usually has a couple pieces left over. Like I said, I love pizza, and when it comes down to it, I'll eat the whole pizza. I could polish off half of this family stuff. Well, not that I should, but I could. So I'm going to throw this in the oven. And for cooking, you want to follow the directions it came with. So basically on this little thing that they have right here, you go to the back, and 425, let's see, about 8 to 14 minutes. Again, I don't know, throw it in there for 10 minutes, check it. Check it every 2 minutes and rotate it, just like you would the regular pizza, rotate the pan. Another thing I forgot to do, actually, because I was kind of in a rush on this one, which I recommend, is preheat your cast iron. Put your cast iron in for like, I don't know, a good 5 minutes in a preheated oven at 425. Let this get pretty darn warm, then throw your crust in. It kind of sears the outside and gives it that initial crust so it doesn't turn soggy. So this one won't be my best. Maybe I'll try another one. We usually get pizza like once a month. I could eat it every day secretly, but it's not good for you. But anyway, preheat your cast iron. I can't believe I forgot to tell you that part, and do it myself. I was in a rush. So let me pop this in the oven, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay guys, timer went off. We gotta rotate. Remember what I said, your oven doesn't heat. Rotate, quarter turn. Woo, hot. Put it in. Woo. We're at to 17 minutes in total, so let's do another 10 this time. Timer set. 10 minutes, go. All right. Now we're gonna try something. I didn't mention this before, but I thought of this last time and then I remembered it. I have to write stuff down. I forget stuff all the time. Remember that blob of extra seasoning stuff that we scraped off? The butter, garlic, a little bit of cheese left over. herbs and spices mix. We're gonna make some garlic bread out of that. So it looks kind of gross. That's what I have left right there, that little blob. We're gonna take that and put that on some of the best, just white bread. Cheap, old, floppy white bread. So we're gonna go like this. I don't know if I have enough for 1 or 2 slices. We're gonna just take a little bit and just, it's not really gonna spread, but as soon as it melts, it's gonna take care of that. So we're gonna spread this, spread that, put a little there, put a little there. We'll try a second slice because I have too much left for 1 slice, and it's gonna be, oh boy, I don't have enough for 2 slices. So basically this one turned out to be like a 1.5 slicer. So if it's by yourself, hey, you got 1.5 pieces. If you're with a significant other, going on a date or something, or making dinner with them, don't try to stretch it. Maybe go with 1.5, eat that before she comes over, and then split this with them like you made it. That's what I would do. You can also try this trick too, is when you cook it initially like this, face down like each other, because the extra on here will melt onto here a little bit to give that side some flavor, and then take it apart eventually. Yeah, this, I don't know, we'll try it. We'll try it. Spread some over here maybe. Sometimes I've gotten some of these pizza breads too, and they've had way more extra sauce than this. It just depends who's happened to make it. I don't think they weigh this part out. They weigh the cheese for sure. They weigh that out, and all the other ingredients, like if you get vegetables or meats, they weigh all those out. I don't know that they weigh this out. I think they just have a big tub with a spatula, and they take it out and just smear it all around. Same with the butter and grease that's underneath of it. So that's why sometimes I've just gotten a lot of this, but not as much this time. So that's fine. But we're gonna throw that in while that bakes at the same time. And no idea how long to cook those, just kind of keep an eye on it, get it a little crispy. If it turns into a mess, this guy here will always eat it. He loves everything, except mushrooms. He likes celery and lettuce, but no mushrooms. All right, we got round 3, I think. Timer. So that's been 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. We're at 27. We'll rotate it one last time. Oh boy. It's looking good, guys. It's looking good to me. One last time. Pop it in. We'll put another, let's do another 27. We'll do another, let's do another 8 because it's looking a little crispier. Looking a little crispier. So we'll do another 8. See it right there. Looks good to me. I don't want to overcook it because you sure can't go back. And then the next thing we do is pop this guy in. 425 for about 10 minutes. Check it. And we'll pop those in for just a couple minutes. So we'll have to set 2 timers or just remember the difference in that. And then this guy will come along last. Big family, so I have to get 2 pizzas. That's the drawback to Papa Murphy's. The only drawback I found is since you have to cook them yourself, I really recommend don't try to cook 2 pizzas in your oven at the same time. They will fit, and it's not just pizza. If you fill up the whole tray with stuff, the heat just cannot circulate good. It just doesn't circulate good. If you put one on the top tray, one on the bottom tray, they just don't cook evenly. And it becomes too hard to juggle them around. Even you basically would have to rotate them and flip them between the racks, and they need longer. It just doesn't heat as well. We tried that, so I do one at a time. And what you can do, because they are thick, so when they come out, they need to cool for a good 5 to 10 minutes. On a wire rack, do not plop your pizza back on that white tray and stick it on a counter, or don't stick your pizza directly on a counter, because it will turn the crust completely soggy. All that heat can escape. It just makes condensation and soaks up into your crust, and then you've got soggy crust, and you've ruined all that time. So stick it onto an elevated wire rack, and even then, unless you're way off the counter, especially when you got a granite counter, I'll move the wire rack after a few minutes because you'll still see condensation underneath the rack. Of course, it's not touching the pizza, but I'll move it over and give it a dry spot to keep cooling down. This guy here in the pan, you can leave in the pan because since this cast iron holds its heat so well, it's essentially cooking it. Just make sure you don't overdo the crust. And then when you're finally ready to cool it faster, same thing, wire rack. Don't let anything ever sit on here, or don't put it back on these white trays. We use the white trays at the end for any leftover. You can put it on here. You can fold it over. Here's what we do. Again, saving you dishes and saving you money on new stuff. Just put your leftover on here, fold it over like this, and then use all this saran wrap that the pizza came wrapped in. They wrapped this like 2 or 3 times, so you get this huge piece of saran wrap. Just remember which side is facing the food initially, and I wrap it around over this. Actually, it doesn't even matter if it's the food side because you're touching this. So we just wrap this up with that. That's how you do it. No dishes, no new saran wrap. Okay guys, sorry for the background noise. The dogs, he couldn't take it anymore. He smelled the pizza and is that good? And he was eating. Is that good? Hey, slow down. Slow down. Okay. So this first one is done. I'm gonna pop it out a little early, 45 seconds ago. Just looking at the crust, you can see, you hear that? It's crunchy. It's done. See how I can pick it up? It supports itself. So this is hot. I need 2 hands. Let me set this down. Wire rack. Just gonna slide it out on here. Woo. Really hot. Bam, like that. We're gonna take this, pop that in the oven. Actually, the temperature's got to go up to 425, and our oven runs low, so we always go 10 higher. And it said 8 to 14 minutes, so we are gonna start with 10. This is where you gotta watch it because it's really not even at the right temperature. We'll get the bread in a second, but here you go. I really need a better wire rack. You can see I just have like 1 to 2 inches of clearance. It's slanted. But that's what you get. You can, good trick is if you have sliced pepperoni, before you bake this, put sliced pepperoni around the outside and the outside ring. It tastes really good. But didn't have it today. So let me pop the bread in. That'll be like 2 minutes maybe. Let's do that right now, actually. That's just gonna go directly on the rack. 1, 2, oh boy. There we go. I'm gonna set a separate timer because I will forget. Let's do 2:30, 2.5 minutes on that. So the temperature's going from 350 to 425 here. So we'll come back. About that time we can move. This is going to take a while to cool. Move that out of the way. All right, 2-minute timer, 2.5-minute timer went off. Let's check it. It's not ready, I can tell you. It's getting crunchy. I like to rotate everything. You can see the bottom's still white, so we're gonna put that in. We're gonna go another 2.5 minutes. That should probably be good at that point. 2.5 minutes. Count that down. We still got to do this bad boy. You can freeze these things. We have done that. We've frozen these pizzas. Take them out, let them thaw in the fridge for a day, and they seem just fine. They spray oil on these, and of course there's oil in the dough so they don't stick to the paper. Or while they're baking, because you're supposed to bake it on these. And also you can refrigerate these for, we've done actually up to 2 days in the fridge. We've gotten it like this, throw it in the fridge for 2 days because we're not ready to make it. We've got an extra. It's at some sale they had. On Pi Day, all pizzas are $3.15. Of course the lines are crazy, but it was unlimited I think it was last year. So we got like 5 of them. Not these thin crusts. But I'm not a big fan. They offer thin crust, which I really like. Their normal original crust and these thick crusts. I'm not a fan of original crust. Not just Papa Murphy's anywhere. I either like really thin pizza or give me this thick crust imitation deep dish. Chicago deep dish would literally be twice as thick as this, easy, with a much more cornmeal based crust. Just a whole different pizza, but these are really good. By us, they're $10 for the normal size and $13 for the family size. On Tuesdays, they have a special. And this pizza's got to weigh, good gosh, it's got to weigh, I swear this thing weighs 4 or 5 pounds. So, all right, 45 seconds. And we'll check the bread. Let's just sneak. Yeah, it's doing okay. Again, the bread's an experiment, so if it turns out horrible, I never promised you on the bread, but I did promise you on the pan in there, the cast iron pan. Did you finish your dinner, Theo? You did. Is it empty? It's all empty. I know you're waiting for more. He sits and waits for scraps to fall. All right. 10 seconds. We'll just pop it open now. Again, I still don't think that's done. You can see the brown starting to appear on the bottom. That one's good. Notice how much more brown's over there. We're gonna flip these around a little bit. We'll do maybe another minute and that will be good. We'll pull them out and it is what it is on those guys. We have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the pan, which actually I forgot to rotate, so let me rotate that. With that, use the old hot pad. There we go. That's going to definitely take longer because the oven was not at the 425 was supposed to be, and I didn't preheat the cast iron, which that's a screw up on my part. You really want to do that. So that's probably going to take an additional 7 minutes at least. All these numbers they give you are just guidelines. I kind of go in the middle and to a little bit to the low end, and then I just check it every 2 or 3 minutes. Check it every 2 or 3 minutes. Can't be lazy when you're making pizza. You got to put the effort, and you'll get the reward. All right. We've got 5 seconds left. We're going to pull that bread out no matter what. Let me grab, I've got these junky wire racks here. They're horrible. Don't ever get them. They're from the dollar store. They're not even worth $1. They're worth 10 cents, and that's because of the scrap metal value. All right, we're gonna pull these out because they're not gonna get any better than this. Nice brown. Nice brown. Ooh, almost grabbed that rack. You can see that's doing pretty well. There you go. Doesn't look so good. Probably needs a layer of butter. I would say maybe a layer of butter on it, and then use this as a spice on top of the butter. Because that just looks like, I don't know. That just looks gross, but we're gonna try it. So let's move this. Remember how I said I move it? You guys can't see, but that's how you get the, make sure this cools nice without affecting the bottom of your crust. Let's see here, we can maybe do a crust test. Still crusty. It's the way I like it. Gives that crunch, but inside it's actually soft. It's cool and nice. I would say this pizza, you could probably eat it now, but another 5 minutes would be good on this. It's really hot. Of course, it's the toppings and the sauce that make it burning hot. And by that time, this pizza will be done. Timer says a minute left. I know that's not good enough, so I'm gonna just put 2 minutes on top of it right now. All right, we'll come back in about 3 minutes. All right, guys, we got about 45 seconds left. Before we check it, I'm gonna get this pizza prepared because its time is coming really soon. Again, they give you, with every pizza, they give you a little menu, cooking instructions, generic because it's for other pizzas, and free cookie dough or pizza bread coupon, hopefully. You can see all the wrapping. We'll just wrap this nice. This is the bacon and chicken pizza. It's pretty darn good. I wish they'd spread it out here. I know it's cost savings to do this. That's why you end up with this. Excuse me. But it would be a lot nicer if they did this. Again, sometimes these are hit or miss too of how well these look based on how they make them. They literally take 2 pizza crusts, the regular family style, and they plop them on top and they wrap the dough to get this. All right, timer went off. Let's check. Ooh, it's looking delicious. We are gonna let that go a little bit longer. We're gonna do the rotating. You can see on this side, hopefully if it doesn't steam up quite red. Yeah, it needs longer. Just watch it. I like to get we're gonna do 3 minutes again. Oops, that's I like to get the cheese to have this brown on it. That's me, personal preference. So in the meantime, be prepared. Get your other pizza ready. You gotta remember with this pizza now, the oven is really definitely preheated, and we are at a 425 degree temperature. So when I take this out, this will only require a 350 degree temperature, 75 degrees cooler. We'll pop it in right away, but just take that into account that it's going to cook quicker initially, which actually, in my opinion, helps the crust. We'll pull this one off, same thing, after about 7 minutes, and it should come off easier because the oven is hotter this time. And this has been sitting at room temperature for a good 20 minutes. All right, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Make the transition. Let's try this. I'm just looking at this, can't resist. I'll go with the half that you should eat before your date arrives. Let's try it. Dang. I will say it's quite good. The spots where you hit the seasoning, quite good. What I'd recommend next time around, again, this is a totally first time ever trying this, is I thought it was too much, but it's not. Put it all on just 1 piece of bread if you have that amount. It was probably a good healthy tablespoon. If you happen to have someone that made a small pizza bread and you come up with 2 tablespoons of that, it would definitely go to 2. In this case, this is our Theo's lucky day. This is why he hangs out with us. You want some scraps? You want some scraps? Gentle, gentle, gentle. Good boy, good boy. He likes that. What do you think? He really makes a mess. He needs to learn to eat with his mouth closed. Yeah, now he cleans up the floor, but you forgot this right there, and this one. Okay. So you just left the slobber on the floor instead of crumbs. Is that good? And that is why he hangs out in the kitchen. All right. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. All right. Here's our 3-minute timer. Turn that off. Let's check it. Ooh! You can start to see the brown on the pizza. We're gonna go another. Oops. We're gonna go another. Let's go another 2 minutes. When you get to this point, actually, let's go 3. We're gonna pull it out at about 2, 2.5. When you get to that point and you start to see the initial brown, it'll go real quick from that to that brown. So you gotta watch it. You can't go sit down on the couch and go watch TV and wait for your timer to come off and go check it and expect it to be perfect. You got to put some effort into this. While I'm sitting here waiting for the timer, I thought, this bread is edible. Definitely, I would change it next time. Like I said, put it all in 1 piece. And then it came to me, Brian, why don't you put it all in 1 piece and sprinkle some cheese on top? And then you have a piece of cheesy bread. So next time, that's probably what I would do. You could even save a dab or 2 of the marinara sauce, throw it on there as well. Again, or spread some really light, you don't want a lot of butter on it, and then put that topping. Then throw some cheese. Heck, then throw some green pepper and onion on it, or a couple pieces of pepperoni. All right, sky's the limit, guys. Sky's the limit. All right. So that's been 1 minute and 10 seconds. Let's check it. See, it's getting brown pretty darn quick. We're gonna let it go. We might need the full 3. All right, let's check it. Oh, look at that brown. I would say that is done. Remember, it's gonna continue to cook in that cast iron pan. So being cast iron, we're gonna set it down onto here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Woo, heat wave. Turn it, pull it, set it down. Look at that. That looks fantastic. Hopefully you guys can see that well. Like I said, it's going to continue to cook in there. You can see, even with all that stuff removed, look at this. It doesn't stick to the pan at all. Nice crisp, nice crust. All right, we're going to pop this one in now. I'm going to set this down. Two-handed operation. When you open the oven door, speed is of the essence. So cancel that timer. We're going to drop this down to actually 360 because, again, our oven runs cool. And we're going to set the timer for 7 minutes so we can pull it off that tray and get a real crust and not a soggy crust. When this starts to cool a little bit more, probably after that 7 minutes, I'm going to pull that out, stick it on the wire rack to let it cool. This guy has done really well. He's pretty much time to eat. So start enjoying this. Let's see here. Now, a trick, what I'd like to do to cut this, bring back your original cooking tray. Look at this. Look at this. Can you guys see this? I can hold this at the edges. Pop it on there. And just to show you, it's not burnt at all by any means. It's just a good crust. We're gonna cut this. Knife. Where did my knife go? I do this all the time. There it is. We're gonna cut it. I have a pizza cutter, but I'm really into what's the least amount of dishes that I can use. There you go. You can tell by the crust and the way it cuts, it's just perfect, in my opinion. So that's this would be my piece right here. I could literally eat that entire thing and probably more of this, but I won't. Cut this. In Chicago, we cut in squares. This doesn't conduct itself well to squares because there's too much here without toppings. And I like to go thinner pieces because then I can say to myself, I can eat more pieces. Psychological. And I feel like I've eaten more pizza because the pieces are tinier. I only cut that to start. Oh, look, Theo, it's your lucky day. Piece fell off. Gentle. Good boy. Yeah, good. Yeah. All right. So there you have it, guys. That's how you take a $5, possibly free, again, if you use the coupon and buy something else, pizza bread and turn it into your own personal 12-inch pan pizza, which actually, for the sake of this video, I'm going to pull out a little early. We're going to plop it on this wire rack. Get your spatula. Get your tray. Get your finger. Bam! Got it. Done. There you go. Done. You can see you might not be able to see that. There's a little bit of grease and this is really hot. Bottom of the crust, perfect. Not burnt at all. This one's definitely a little bit softer because it's not cooked directly on the rack. If you really wanted to, never tried this, you could pull this out 3 minutes early out of the pan, stick it on the wire rack to get the bottom. But my son really likes it this way, so that's how it is. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll tell you it's delicious. If Papa Murphy's, thumbs up. It's a great idea. Try them out and give this a try and experiment with this. I'm going to try to make a calzone probably next time. And then maybe we could even cut it into quarters and make, I don't know, mini like pizza pockets or something like that with it. It's kind of cool what you could do. Maybe we get 2 of them and we'll try to make our own stuffed. But we'll definitely add toppings. Anyway, Hope this was a break from my normal videos of the motorcycle or mechanical things, and makes you guys hungry and get some pizza. Enjoy.